Welcome to assignment 5.1. Here we are trying to create a map of Maricopa County, Arizona, which has voting districts, schools, and some thematic maps for the voting districts and stuff with streets. So first thing, we need to download this data. So I went to this website, arcdata.esri.com, and I'm gonna select Arizona and Maricopa County and download some files from some shape files from here, which is Census blocks 2000, the roads, and the voting districts. And I'm gonna click proceed to download. And so once our file is ready, I'm gonna click on download the file, and I'm gonna save it in my C drive under my answers under assignment 5. Save it and wait for it to download. So now the download is done, but we also need to download something else. We're going to go back to Maricopa County and we need to download a data table which is called Census Block Demographics SF1, and click proceed to download. The same thing applies here. I'm going to save this again and click on save, and the downloading of data from the website is done. So I'm going to go back to my folder in the GIS tutorial under answers under assignment 5. We have 2 zip files. So what I'm going to do is double click them and enter that, copy them, and come outside, come into the folder again, go back and paste it, so that it's kind of an extract just to keep things simple. And do the same thing for the data table. I'm gonna go back and paste it. So now that I've done that, I can delete my original files, but I'll keep them till I get all my data. And I'm gonna enter each one of those zip files and paste them so that I have all my shape files. The same thing with the data table. Also with the voting districts. Okay, now I have my block groups, data table, streets, and voting districts. Okay, this is part 1. Now I'll open up my map document and start adding this data, and we'll see how how to play with it and add all the data, of course. And click on add data. Go to your assignment 5, add your 3 layers, and what I'm also gonna add is my data table, so that I need to join this. Of course, we'll do it later, and I'm gonna make this look a little readable, like we always do. And the block groups are gonna be, we'll come back to block groups, and the voting districts are gonna be hollow and maybe we also need one more data, one more piece of data, which is in the Maricopa County folder, which is called County Schools. I'm gonna add that. So we have all our data, and we need to follow a couple of steps here. One is to actually create a XY event map. For that, we need to actually identify the state plane zone for Maricopa County. This is how you do it. Go to Google and type in state plane coordinate system for Arizona, and the first thing you get is the descriptions by county. So if you scroll down in Arizona, the Maricopa is right here under Arizona Central Zone FIPS 202. That's the zone we need. Okay, so once we identify that, I'm gonna remember that, minimize, and actually when I actually create my schools, right click on the county schools and say XY events, and select X and select Y, and edit the coordinate system and say select. And here I'm gonna use my projected coordinate system in the state plane 1983 feet, and if you scroll to the other side, you get Central FIPS 202 for Arizona. So that's what we are gonna use to actually create our data. So now the schools are created, but the problem is they're not being all the data is not in one projection. So what we are going to do is right click on the data frame, go to properties, and what I'm going to do is in the predefined, go to geographic coordinate systems in North America. I'm going to scroll down to NAT 27 CGQ 77, click OK. So once that is done, all my data comes together, and now I can work with this. So the next step is to actually join the census block. If you actually open the attribute table, you can see the SDF ID, which is the unique ID, and also if you open the table that you downloaded from, you also have SDF ID. So we are going to join these two tables. So right click on the shapefile and click on join, and go to select SDF ID, and automatically the other one is selected, and I'm gonna say click OK. And once those two are joined, I can open my attribute table, and you can see now all the data is actually inside my table. So I'm gonna say click add field, which is called voters, and it's gonna be a long integer, and click OK. And once that is created, you have to scroll to the starting, because this table this field belongs to the shapefile. So I'm gonna right click and say field calculator, in which I'm gonna calculate my voters, which is essentially population 2000 minus ages 5 to 17 who are not eligible to vote, right? I'm gonna click OK, and that's gonna help. So now the voters are all calculated, and we are ready to create some thematic maps. So I'm gonna create a thematic map for the census blocks and graduated symbols, in which I'm gonna use a small tiny little square. It should be it doesn't matter what the size is. I'm gonna use my voters 2000 to actually size that, and since I'm gonna use the monochromatic scale, I'm gonna set my size as the same, but I'm gonna use a graduated color for individual. So I click on this and I select that color, and I keep going up the ramp so that the colors get darker and darker. So you get the idea, right? And I'm gonna leave the last one black, and click on, and the background is gonna be no background. Click OK. Actually, not even the blocks. Click OK. So, and go back to the display tab, and what we're gonna do is actually zoom into a very populated area sort of a thing, and start creating a couple more maps. start creating this scale based displays and stuff, which you can actually see in part 2.